So this is question number 39. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do it right on the calculator. First thing first is we've got to change this to be a matrix. So I'm going to call this matrix A. And I'm going to put the answer as matrix B. Okay, so this is matrix A, this is matrix B. So now what I do is I come to my calculator and I hit second matrix. Okay, and it brings up that menu. Now I move over to edit. And I'm going to edit matrix A and I'm going to make it a 2 by 2. Now I plug in those numbers, -4, -3, 6, 5. Now I hit second matrix again. I move it over to edit and I'm going to edit matrix B. So now I have matrix B. There are 2 rows by 1 column. And so this is going to be -4 and this is going to be 8. So now that I have that done, I hit second quit. It takes me out of the matrix menu. Now that sounds weird, but we're going to go back into the matrix menu and choose matrix A. And I hit that little inverse times second matrix B. And I hit enter. Now B's on there. So now I do that and it tells me this is my answer. This is x equals -2 and this is y equals 4. So this is x equals and this is y equals. So really what it looks like is this xy equals -2, 4. So anyways, that is question number 39. Question number 69, you have to come up with the equations based on this picture that they give you. These are the temperature points on this hot plate. Okay, and x1 is right here, x2, x3, and x4. So it says x1 is the sum of the average of these 4 points around it. Okay, so x2, which is this one, is 32, because that one's 32. This one's 40. This is x4, and x1 is across that way. And since it's the average, we divide it by 4. x3 is 48 and 36. And then x1 and x4. All divided by 4. And then x4 is right here, so that's 48 and 40. Plus x3 and x2. All divided by 4. So what I am going to do is I'm going to simplify these. 32 plus 36 makes 68. And then I'm going to divide it by 4. So 68 divided by 4 is 17. 72 divided by 4. So that's the 32 and the 40. I hit enter. Now 48 and 36. And I'm going to divide it by 4. That's 21. So on this first one, this is really going to become x1 equals 17 plus x2 over 4 and x3 over 4. x2 becomes 18 plus x4 over 4 plus x1 over 4. x3 becomes 21 plus x1 over 4 plus x4 over 4. And we haven't got to the last one, which is 88 divided by 4, which is 22. So x4 equals 22 plus x2 over 4 plus x3 over 4. Okay. So now that I have these equations, I'm going to get all of my variables on one side and my numbers on the other. So what I'm going to do is minus these over. So I'm going to have x1 minus x2 over 4 plus x3 over 4 equals 17. After I divided all of these, I'm looking at it and I might do something here in a minute. Like, why didn't you do that? Anyways, I had this thought as I'm doing this. So x2 minus x4 over 4 minus x1 over 4 equals 18. X3 minus x1 over 4 minus x4 over 4 equals 21. And x4 minus x2 over 4 minus x3 over 4 equals 22. Because I really don't want to put in all these decimals, this is the part where you're probably like, why didn't you do this in the first place? So anyways, I just took an extra step, but sorry. I'm doing this for the first time with you, so I'm multiplying this all by 4 to get rid of that decimal. So it becomes 4x1 minus x2 plus x3 equals 4 times 17, which is 68. Multiply all this by 4, that becomes 4x2 minus x4 minus x1 equals, not 18, 72. And 4x3 minus x1 minus x4 equals 84. And then 4x4 minus x2 minus x3 equals 88. Now I'm going to put these in order. This first one's done for me. I don't have to change its order. But the next one, if I put it in order, is negative x1 plus 4x2, no x3s, minus x4 equals 72. This next one, if I put it in order, is negative x1 plus 4x3 minus x4 equals 84. And the last one, and when I put it in order, is there's not any x1s, but negative x2 minus x3 plus 4x to the fourth, and 4x4 equals 88. So, and then the top one, of course, was this one, 4x1 minus x2 plus x3 equals 68. So if I were to create a matrix out of this, okay, so let's clean this up. Now that I have my equations, I can just create two matrices, matrix A and matrix B. If I were to create a matrix out of this, matrix A would be 4, negative 1. That should be a negative 1, I'm pretty sure on that. So negative 1 and 0. Then we're going to have negative 1, 4, 0, negative 1, negative 1, 0, 4, negative 1, 0, negative 1, negative 1, 4. Then matrix B is my answer matrix, which is going to be 68, 72, 84, 88. So if I multiply these together, what I'm going to get is my answer matrix would be x1, x2, x3, x4. Okay? So when I multiply these, I have to take the inverse of this and multiply it together. So anyways, let's go ahead and type this into our calculator. So I'm going to go second matrix. I'm going to edit matrix A. I'm going to make it a 4 by 4. So first one is 4, negative 1, negative 1, 0, negative 1, 4, 0, negative 1, negative 1, 0, 4, negative 1, 0, negative 1, negative 1, and 4. And then I'm going to go back into my matrix menu, hit edit, go down to the second one, 4 rows by 1 column. So 68, 72, 84, and 88. Whoa. 88. There we go. So now I come out of it. I hit second matrix. I choose A, inverse, times second matrix B. I hit enter, and it tells me that X1 is 36.5, X2 is 37.5, X3 is 40.5, X4 is 41.5. So realize what's happening when I have this. I have matrix A, really, times X1, X2, X3, X4, okay, equals my answer matrix B. So what happens when I multiply this by its inverse is these two cancel off. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So that's how I know it's X1, X2, X3, X4 equals A negative 1 times B. Okay, so that's why I did what I did on that. And that is that's how you do that problem. So if you were to look back at that problem, those points inside the hot plate, those would be their temperatures. Definitely warmer down here than it is up here in this left-hand corner. So hopefully that helps, and that's those problems.